Today, the topic is kinds of company. There are various kinds of company under the Companies Act 2013 and under various other laws. The kind of company depends on the basis on which we classify the company. There are various bases of classification of a company. The following are the various bases. On the basis of incorporation, on the basis of number of members, on the basis of liability, on the basis of ownership and control, on the basis of nationality, and other kinds of classification. First, moving on to the kinds of company on the basis of incorporation. There are three kinds of company on the basis of incorporation. They are chartered company, statutory company, and registered company. Chartered company are no more present in the present age. They were companies which were formed under the order which was known as the charter of a king or a monarch. The charter contained the terms and conditions under which that entity was given permission to operate as a company. The example of such kind of company was East India Company, which got the charter from the Queen of England to function as a company. The next kind of company under this category is statutory company. Statutory company are those company which are enacted or formed under an act of the parliament or the legislature. These companies are generally of national importance or of public importance and are guided by the law which have incorporated such companies. Example of such kinds of company are Reserve Bank of India, Life Insurance Corporation, Unit Trust of India, etc. The last under this category is registered company. Registered company are the one which we are to study under the Company Act 2013. Registered companies are those companies which are enacted or formed under this law or any other previous company law. These companies are governed by Companies Act 2013 presently as amended from time to time. Next basis of classification is on the basis of number of members. On the basis of number of members, there are three kinds of companies: private company, public company, and one-person company. Private company can be defined as a company which by its articles of association restricts the following things. Number one, restricts invitation of any share to the public, restricts the number of members to 200, and restricts invitation of any deposit from the public. So thus, private company is just a private affair which is amongst close circles, and that's why public involvement is kept at the minimum level. Such kinds of company have got a minimum membership pattern of 2 and a maximum membership pattern of 200. The next category of company is public company. Public company has been defined under company law as a company which is not a private company and which is a subsidiary of a company which is not a private company. In case of a public company, the minimum number of membership is 7. The maximum number of membership, it has got no limit. The next in this kind of company is one-person company. One-person company is basically a private company with only one person as its member. This concept was introduced in Companies Act 2013 with an objective of converting the sole proprietorship business into the company format, which is more statutory compliant and which is more transparent. In this category of company, the one person who is the member must just appoint a nominee who take over the company in case of his death or legal incapacity. The third classification of company is on the basis of liability. This we have already discussed in the topic Memorandum of Association. The liability clause of memorandum is same as the types of company on the basis of liability. Once again, in a summarized version, there are three kinds of companies on the basis of liability: limited by shares, limited by guarantee, and unlimited company. Limited by shares are those companies in which the liability of the members is limited to the unpaid value of the shares held by the members of the company. In case of limited by guarantee, the liability of the members is limited to the undertaken amount which the members agree to pay as guarantee at the time the company goes into winding up. Guaranteed company can be of two types: having share capital, not having share capital. If it is a guaranteed company having share capital, the liability of the members will be twofold. That is the guaranteed amount which they have to pay at the time of winding up, and the unpaid value of the shares which they are holding. And if it is a guaranteed company not having share capital, the liability of the members will be single fold. That is, they have to pay only the guaranteed amount at the time of winding up of the company. In case of guaranteed company, it must be noted that the guaranteed amount is only to be paid at the time of winding up and not during the lifetime of the company. The next in this category is unlimited liability company. Unlimited liability company, the liability of the members is unlimited in the same manner as in case of sole proprietorship or partnership. They can be again of two types: having share capital and not having share capital. The next kinds of company is on the basis of ownership and control. On the basis of ownership and control, we can categorize company as holding company, subsidiary company, government company, and associate company. Holding and subsidiary company must coexist. That means if there is a holding company, there must be a subsidiary company to it, and similarly, if there is a subsidiary company, it cannot exist without a holding company. Thus, defining one of those companies will automatically define the other kind of company. A company is said to be a subsidiary of another company when, under any of these three circumstances: number one, its composition of board of directors is controlled by the other company, or more than 50% of the shares having voting right is controlled by the other company, or if it is subsidiary of a company which is already subsidiary of some other company. For example, if A Limited is subsidiary of B Limited and B Limited is subsidiary of C Limited, that means C Limited will automatically become holding company of A Limited. So, thus in this case, the other company stands as the holding company, and the company who is, we say, having control, or the company on whom the control is exerted, is known as the subsidiary company. Next in this category is government company. Government company is a company in which not less than 51% shares, I can repeat, not less than 51% shares are held by any of the governments. Any of the governments means either the central government or the state government, or central or state government jointly, or one or more state governments jointly. The only condition is that the government in any form, either the central government or the state government, must hold minimum 51% shares in such company. Example of such company is Oil India Limited. Next in this category is associate company. Sometimes companies are closely related to each other, but they do not fulfill the criteria of being holding or subsidiary company. So thus it must be seen whether they are associate company or not. Associate company is said to be a company in which the other company has got substantial interest. Substantial interest has been defined in the law as any company in which at least 20% shares is held by the other company. So that other company will be considered as its associate company. Next classification is on the basis of nationality. On the basis of nationality, there can be two kinds of company: Indian company and foreign company. Indian company. Though the law does not define the term Indian company, but keeping in view all the provisions of the Act, we can put up a definition of Indian company as a company which is registered in India. That means any company which is formed in India is said to be an Indian company. Foreign company. Foreign company has been defined under Companies Act 2013. It says that any company which is registered outside India having a place of business in India is a foreign company. The place of business in India can be either physically, electronically, or in any other manner. So thus that company will be regarded as a foreign company. So two conditions must be fulfilled to be a foreign company. It must be registered outside India and it must have a place of business in India in any form. Then we have got the last classification, that is other kinds of classification. First in this being banking company. Banking company are those companies which are having the license to operate as a bank under Banking Regulation Act 1949. Next in this category we have got listed companies. Listed companies are public companies which have whose shares are listed in any recognized stock exchange in India. So for listed companies, in addition to Company Law 2013, SEBI rules will also be applicable. Next category of companies, Section 8 companies. Section 8 companies are those companies which can be registered without using the word private limited or limited to the name as the case may be. Such companies must be formed for some specific purpose. The purpose must be social in nature. It must be formed for the purpose of forwarding certain art, culture, literature or similar other program. Secondly, it must in its memorandum state that it debars payment of dividend to its members, and if any profit accrues by any of the above activities, that will be utilized for the purpose of forwarding the objective for which it is made. Such kinds of companies can be formed with the prior approval of the appropriate authority, and thus they have got certain privileges over the other kinds of companies. Next in this category is Nidhi company. Nidhi companies are non-banking financial companies which are basically involved in dealing in financial instruments, be it mutual funds, be it other financial instruments. So they are known as Nidhi companies. Last in this category is small company. Small company are those companies which are fulfilling the following two criteria. That means the paid up capital must not be more than 5 lakhs, which can be extended up to the amount of 50 lakhs by the appropriate authority, or the turnover is not more than rupees 2 crores annually. That can again be extended by up to rupees 20 crore by the appropriate authority. So this was all about the types of companies under the Company Act 2013. If you like this video, kindly subscribe to the channel and be ready for other updates. Thank you.